My name is Eleanor Brooks, and I am 71 years old. I never thought heartbreak could come wrapped in frosting, candles, and a fake smile. Yet there I was, sitting at my daughter's modern suburban dining table in Seattle, watching a birthday cake that I had baked myself be pushed away from me like it was infected. It was supposed to be a small Sunday family dinner. I wore my soft lilac sweater, the one my late husband always complimented. I brought homemade lasagna and the chocolate cake my grandkids loved, but the moment I stepped into the house, I knew something was wrong. The air felt cold. The smiles were thin. The greetings were rushed. "Mom, you didn't have to bring anything," my daughter Megan said with that rehearsed politeness she used on strangers. Her husband, David, didn't look up from his phone. The grandkids ran around, barely noticing me. I had spent 8 hours cooking for them. I placed the cake in the center of the table. "That's sweet," Megan said blandly. "But the kids prefer store-bought now. More modern." It was like someone stabbed a fork through my chest. We all sat down. The kids scrolled their tablets. David kept typing. Megan rearranged the table like I was invisible. Then she cleared her throat. "So, Mom, we were actually talking about something important." My stomach tightened. David spoke without looking up. "We think it's time you move into an assisted living community." My ears rang. The room felt like it tilted sideways. "What?" I whispered. "You're alone," Megan continued. "And it's too much pressure on us to constantly check on you." Constantly? They hadn't visited in 3 months. "But I'm fine," I protested.
I'm healthy.
"I drive." David finally looked at me. "Mom, don't make this dramatic. It's normal at your age." Normal? At your age? Those words slapped harder than any physical blow. Then Megan slid a brochure across the table. A brochure. Printed. Ready. They had planned this. I pushed it back with trembling hands. "I baked this cake for my grandchildren," I whispered. David shrugged. "Kids don't eat stuff like that anymore." That was it. The moment the crack in my heart became a fracture. I stood up. "I think I should leave." "Okay," Megan said casually. "Drive safe." Not a hug. Not a protest. Not even a thank you. The cake was still untouched on the table as I walked out. It felt like leaving a funeral. Only I was the one they had buried. As I drove home, Seattle's misty rain blurred the world outside my windshield. I thought about how the years had shaped me into someone my own daughter could discard like an old magazine. When Megan was young, I worked double shifts as a waitress while studying at night to become a registered nurse. Her father, Frank, had died when she was 7. Cancer took him in 11 painful months. I became mother, father, friend, nurse, provider, all at once. For years, I sacrificed everything. When Megan wanted piano lessons, I sold my wedding ring. When she wanted to attend a private school, I picked up extra night shifts for 4 straight years. When she went to college, I took out loans I am still paying off. When she married David, I paid $9,000 towards the wedding. Another $16,000 when they wanted a down payment for their first apartment. And for years, I babysat the kids for free. I thought love was investment. Turns out it was a donation.
Non refundable.
That night, I cried into my pillow like a teenage girl who had been dumped. My chest hurt. My breath shook. But at 3 a.m., something inside me hardened. I wiped my cheeks, sat up, and whispered to myself, "No more." I walked to my closet and opened a small fireproof safe. Inside were documents my daughter never knew about. A deed to a small cabin in Montana that my aunt left me. Stock certificates accumulated slowly from decades of careful saving. A savings account with $280,000, money I never touched out of fear I'd need it in old age. And most surprising of all, a letter from my aunt, written 20 years earlier. "Eleanor, you've spent your whole life giving. Don't let the world convince you that you owe them more." I held that letter to my chest. She knew me better in death than my family did alive. The next morning, I canceled the monthly $600 I was sending Megan for kids' activities. I also removed her from my will. Then I booked a plane ticket. Not to Florida like most seniors, but to Montana, where my aunt's cabin, untouched for years, waited among pine trees and silence. It was time to build a life where I wasn't treated like a burden. But before leaving Seattle, I needed closure. Megan wasn't expecting me when I rang her doorbell the next day. She opened the door, surprised. "Mom, what are you doing here?" I stepped inside without asking permission. Her living room smelled like expensive candles. My cake from last night sat on the counter, untouched. "I came to say goodbye," I said calmly. "Goodbye? Where are you going?" "Away." "What does that mean?" "It means," I said, meeting her eyes, "that I will no longer chase people who don't want me." She rolled her eyes. "Oh, Mom, stop with the melodrama." I raised my hand. "Don't interrupt me." She froze. She had never heard that tone from me. "For 40 years, I broke my back for you. I paid your bills. I raised your kids. I gave you everything I had. And yesterday, you threw me out of your life over a cake. Mom, we were worried."
No.
"You were inconvenienced." Her face turned red. Then I delivered the final blow. "I've changed my will. You will not inherit anything from me." David stood up from the couch.
What?
"You can't do that." I looked him dead in the eyes. "I just did." Chapter 6: Freedom in the Woods. Montana was colder than I remembered, but it was beautiful, raw, quiet, honest. The cabin was dusty, old-fashioned, but perfect. For weeks, I scrubbed floors, painted walls, planted flowers, repaired windows. I cooked for myself, sat on the porch with tea, walked in the woods. For the first time in years, I felt alive. One afternoon, as snowflakes drifted lazily outside, I received a phone call. "Megan." I let it ring, and ring, and ring. Then I blocked her. Chapter 7: A New Family. By spring, I wasn't the lonely, abandoned woman anymore. I had new friends. Carol, a retired math teacher who lived a mile away. Ben, a widowed carpenter who helped fix my porch. Lila, a bakery owner who insisted I taste test her blueberry muffins. They became the family I thought I had lost. Ben built me a rocking chair. "You know," he said one evening, "you're stronger than you think." I smiled. No one had said that to me in decades. Chapter 8: The Day They Came Looking. 1 year after I moved, a black SUV drove up my cabin path. Megan, David, the kids. They stepped out, awkward and cold. "Mom," Megan started, "you never answer our calls." "That's correct," I replied. "We're worried."
No. I correcte, Jean-Lee.
"You're afraid." "Afraid of what?" David snapped. "Afraid that you lost the source of your free childcare and your future inheritance." Silence. "Mom, please," Megan said, her voice shaking. "We made mistakes." "Mistakes are forgetting a birthday," I said. "What you did was cruelty." Her eyes filled with tears. "We want you back in our lives." I shook my head slowly. "You want access. You don't want me." David stepped forward. "That's unfair." I raised my hand again. "You taught me something last year," I said. "That family is not defined by blood, but by behavior." I motioned toward the road. "You need to leave." "Mom," Megan whispered, "please." "I forgive you," I said softly, "but I will not return to your life." Her face collapsed. "And the inheritance?" I smiled sadly. "I gave it to a senior charity. Every penny." Her mouth fell open. "You what?" "You treated me like a burden. So now, my blessings will go to people who know how to value kindness." David swore under his breath. The grandkids looked confused. I bent down and hugged them gently. "I love you," I whispered. "But love doesn't mean staying where I'm mistreated." And with that, they left. A year later, I sat on my porch with Ben, sipping hot cocoa while the sun set behind the pine trees.
"I don't know how you did it," he said.
"I didn't," I smiled. "I survived it." My phone buzzed with a message from my new friends inviting me to a community dinner. I put on my coat. Life had become warm again. And I had become someone I never expected to be at 71.
Happy. Free.
Unapologetically alive. Final line. Sometimes, the day you're thrown away is the day you finally learn your worth.